Is President Biden woke?
The president doesn't concern himself about what Republicans are trying to do in creating political stunts, in making an issue out of the things that they feel benefits them politically, not the American people, not what matters to the American people, but what benefits them politically for their own ability to move forward. No.
Responding to COVID, but where did COVID come from? If we know,
Peter, you can't tell. First of all, you can't tell me how to answer the question. I'm going to answer it for you, right? So just give me a second.
Can you tell us if there's any sort of assessment that has been planned or launched to determine if national security has been jeopardized at all?
Again, that's for the Department of Justice.
Why is it a DOJ question?
And let's be clear, it's not your decision to make on what I can or can't answer from here. What I'm telling you is that we are respecting the process. We are being prudent from here. There is an investigation currently happening. And when there are investigations that are happening that the DOJ is currently reviewing or looking at, we have been very consistent to say that you need to go to the Department of Justice.
thank you, Kareem. Why is President Biden afraid of China?
The president is not afraid of China.
Well,
Did you see the president last week when we went to Ukraine, went to Kyiv? This is not a president that's afraid of anything. It was a historic trip that many of you said was brave. So clearly, this is a president that's not afraid to go to a war zone. He's not afraid to go there when there's no military presence on the ground. So there's nothing that this president fears.
If you are not able to talk about this from the podium, would you invite a DOJ official to take our questions here to the briefing?
No, you would have to go to the Department of Justice. That is not, this is a legal matter that is currently happening at the Department of Justice. And the president has been very, very clear when it comes to these types of legal matters, when it comes to investigations, he's not going to interfere. He wants to make sure that we give back the independence that the Department of Justice should have when it comes to these types of investigations. So certainly would not be bringing them here. So I would refer you to the Department of Justice.
NSC or with any other intelligence
Again,
agency?
I would
don't
refer you.
understand
I
why
would.
we're being-
It's very clear. I just laid out. There should be no confusion here.
And by way of trying to clarify this for the American people, I wonder if we couldn't begin with a threshold question, to wit, is President Biden woke?
So let me tell you what the president cares about and what's important to this president. The president doesn't concern himself about what Republicans are trying to do in creating political stunts. What the president cares about is exactly what I just talked about and what he talked about at the legislative conference, which is how are we going to continue to deliver for the American people? You heard him say that at the State of the Union. You heard him talk about how the economy has grown the last 2 years, the progress that we have made. And guess what? He wants to continue that progress. He wants to continue to move forward to make sure that we lower the deficit, which he did the first 2 years by $1.7 trillion, and be fiscally responsible. But he wants to work with Republicans on how we are going to continue to deliver, how we are going to build on the economic progress that we're seeing.
China flew a spy craft over the U.S. The president didn't really do anything to China. And according to the FBI director, China may have created something that has killed more than 1.1 million people in this country. And President Biden is not punishing them.
So you're giving me two things here, so let's take them in parts. As we talk about the China surveillance balloon, the president did take that down, and he did it in a way that as it was on its path, we collected information from it, we protected our national security information on the ground, and we did it in a way that was smart, effective, and also protected the American people.
It's on background, that Kareem, not on the record until the call ends. That means the American people can't see it in public. So we're asking, will there be a representative who would speak on camera and see it in public?
But the call was indeed, he was quoted, it was in papers, it was on networks.
Correct, but because they can't witness it happening live, Americans don't get the same transparency into this back and forth. Is the White House having a conversation?
Peter,
this is just with respect. You guys brought John Kirby in. I'm asking if that conversation exists.
The fact that he spoke to all of you reporters who report on this, and then you all reported on it back to the American people, I believe that is transparency. I believe that he shared information, he answered your questions that you believe that the American people wanted to hear, and he answered those questions.
understand.
Peter, I'm not,
I just wanna
we
be
just
clear.
went
Are you
back.
having- So just the
we're-
question is, are
Peter,
you having a conversation about
I-
adding a
Peter-
member to the staff
Peter-
to speak publicly on this?
Peter,
It's
I
yes or no. You
just,
can
I
say no.
actually just answered that question. I said we have someone currently,
So that
right?
means no.
What they want to do is they want to cut Social Security. What they want to do is they want to cut Medicare, and they want to take us back and not actually deal with issues that matter to the American people. Can you imagine? Can you imagine if you're an American out there and you hear your congressional member talking about how they want to cut Social Security, talking about how they want to cut Medicare, something that you have worked very hard for many, many years and paid into so you can get those programs. But yet, that Republican senator who we've been talking about from Florida has continued to talk about how they want to sunset these programs. That's not what we're about. We're about fighting for these programs, and that's what you're going to see from the president, and that's what he cares about.